And there were just two more things about like CHOPS one. I was wondering the in Appendix two, you have the practice rhythms, a very like
Yeah.
there. Okay, I wasn't sure how much I had to go in to spark your brain about it, but
Oh, it's,
um,
it's, oh, it's there. Yeah.
yeah.
Far too well.
There was I had gone through a similar thing when I had worked a semester with Dr. Robert Young when he took over at Potsdam.
Yeah.
And his biggest thing with me in working on scales and speeding up facility was very similar to what you have in that appendix. And I was just wondering, because I know there was some overlap with your teachers, if that was instilled by anyone in the past, or if that's just something that you had collected through working like the pedagogue in general.
I would say every teacher I've had at some point has suggested a version of practice rhythms,
Yeah.
because the first private teacher I had was actually it was jazz soprano were my first lessons, and I took those in Putnam County, New York.
Jazz soprano was were your first lessons?
Yeah. Oh
That's
yeah. Because that was the first time I ever heard soprano was trained, and
okay. Yeah. There we
it
go then.
just sparked an interest in, of course, then I branched out to, several others, but, I always was particularly entranced, and even, then as I think I was doing those maybe in ninth or 10th grade. I'm too old. So even then, when we were learning just some of the more technical bits of certain tunes, I was encouraged to vary up the rhythm of the tune just to get it in my brain better, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
if you're playing "Girl from Ipanema" and you know how it go, all right, fine, completely mess with the rhythm now and see if you still remember the tune. And so I got practice rhythms there. Then I studied classical alto with. Actually a clarinetist and somebody who took saxophone lessons from Steve Mauck at Ithaca.
Okay.
And he had a very similar approach. We worked through the Larry Teal books, that was his thing, and we did full range scales, and full range, and back then missing an octave in my opinion, but we were doing that, and similar idea is that when there was a bit of unevenness in my fingers, it was always all right. We're going to do this every which way. Take that bar. All right, dotted rhythms. Okay, triplet rhythms. Okay, now groupings of three, then one. And so, I got that. I got that from Tim. I got that from Don. And so the idea of practice rhythms been around like that as a tool to kind of clean up unevenness in the technique by creating rhythmic unevenness,
Yeah.
and then having that even it out for you.
Yeah.
But
Finding the
as a
consistency
method
and
to
the
get your
inconsistency.
scales faster, that's a bit more obscure, but it's also for some students that's the way in, because just relentlessly having the metronome clicking and trying sixteenths, it never gets any cleaner. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
minute they start grouping that into really fast threes, now they're thinking about the groupings differently. They're thinking of the strong part of the beat differently. Now all of a sudden that section of the scale just rips.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of students that's the way. And so I think that might be one that I don't know if I thought of, but I would say that I would say that's the most original notion there. That, and when doing your practice tempos, people have gotten very good about working it up diligently, but they don't work it back down. And so adding that element of I
Yeah.
work something up really fast, great, but end your practice session right where you began, so that your brain remembers it being that easy, but you got it that fast.
Yeah. It's yeah. Hitting 3 BPM faster than you've ever done, and then trying to start again at the next day and be like, well, I
Right, the
did it the
same
other
place.
day.
Oh
What do you
yeah.
mean? What's the big deal? Yeah.
Yep.